So yeah, I did say that we were going to follow this up with Banjo-Tooie, but chronology speaking, this came first.
Yep.
Oh, THQ.
Did this come out for 2?
Oh, jeez!
Well, technically this came after Tooie, but in terms of the overall plot of the series, this technically takes place beforehand.
It's an interquel.
Welcome to Banjo-Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge for the Game Boy Advance.
Man, this game was a weird revelation for me.
What year is this? I think I missed it.
The year? 2 months have passed since Gruntilda the Witch was defeated by Banjo-Kazooie in a very epic and interesting commentary that you should watch before this. After falling down the tower, Gruntilda is buried underground, where she remains, waiting for her sisters to rescue her, but that's a spoiler for the sequel.
Well, it's not so much a spoiler, because it happens right in the Devil Dam opening.
But this very day...
Hey, Kazooie, I'll clean the barbecue, while you clear things up in the house.
And Celia, this came out in 2003.
Meanwhile...
2003.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Look at him scratching his back against
Look
the
at his
log.
googly eyes.
Oh, feels good. Klungo, not shift rock.
And Celia 2 came out in 2000.
Gruntilda not get out. Maybe Klungo makes something to help Grunty.
So he actually had a decent idea besides just trying to push, or just trying to lift the rock. Let's use technology.
Meanwhile,
What's going on here?
Hey, Mumbo.
Mumbo, wait behind bush and see.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why you were behind that bush to begin with.
so
Yeah.
it took him about about a minute as opposed to 2 years. He made a robot.
Also,
Dear
that's where the
Lord.
thing came from.
Mistress can escape if she uses magic spell to get ghosts out from under rock and into Mecha Grunty.
Basically, she's gonna possess it.
Shoo?
And she's a ghost!
Like so.
And, ta-da!
Here you are, Mecha Grunty.
With the Mecha Grunty Clunder's made, Badger's favor will be repaid.
Crap, this was before the
I'll
rhyming
steal
stopped.
Kazooie, and in a blast, I'll use my suit to change the password. This thing can do that. Without his word, Badger's lost. I won't give up at any cost, except to maybe get some lunch, because I'm hungry.
Yeah, apparently Clunko accidentally built it with a DeLorean engine in it.
I guess so.
Off. Banjo need get Kazooie. Quick, Grunty back. Looking to kidnap. Favorite friend of Bear for evil plan.
Oh wow, that fish is still in the
To
barbecue
change
from the
history.
barbecue party.
Too late. Here hag comes.
Oops.
Did somebody call me a hag?
Mumbo cannot stop. Power walk.
Now I have your feathered friend. On my sisters I won't depend. I never really liked them anyway. With this duo split in two, there's nothing that I cannot do. Hold tight, Kazooie. We'll move quite fast. To travel back into the past. I still can't believe I can do that.
Oh, and don't worry, Tootie's already been sent away to
We
college.
can't let Grunty get away with this. We've got to get Kazooie back before something awful happens.
We gotta get
Awful
SpongeBob
and
back.
bad, same thing. Mumbo use strong magic. Send Banjo back to save time as Grunty.
Back up.
Banjo tried to find ancestors of Mole
Back up,
and handsome young Reach.
back up,
Doctor, they help Bear get Bert back.
back up,
Hope magic not have too many side effects.
back up.
Side effects
Mumbo?
include in
Backing up. No, back up. Mumbo, you can time travel.
backing up.
And you never
up.
thought of time traveling us back to before when Tootie was kidnapped that we could have prevented it.
Oh, that's kind of hypnotizing.
Backing up.
Mumbo only learned spell last Tuesday.
I was going to say, to be fair, could you ask the same thing for Grunty?
Anyways, should
Why do
we...
we always pick Tuesdays?
How about we just talk about the game now?
yeah.
Let's just talk about the game. We're gonna be a lot of voice acting here, as
I'm
James
feeling a
previously
little
mentioned.
dizzy.
Okay.
I wonder, could you show me the way to Grunty's castle?
Sure, but just give me a second.
purpose.
I'm just gonna click this off. Okay, commentary on. So, James,
Okay.
how was your... So, James,
We're the one
did
that
you
wanted to
ever
do
try
that.
this game?
What were you saying?
Did you ever try this game out yourself prior to now?
The earliest recollection I have of playing this game was, well, right around my emulator phase. Really.
Oh, fair enough.
Like, it's funny because, well, beforehand, I actually did get a Banjo Pilot, but I completely skipped on this one for whatever reason.
I mean, I feel like honestly, I think you would have started with this one before Pilot. This one's the one that's more resembling the Banjo series.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird like that, but at the same time, weird shit can happen during your childhood. But yeah, this is Boggy. He's pretty much our Bottles for the game. In fact, he's pretty much his direct ancestor.
Yep. Even though he's super old.
For all we know, he may as well be his grandpa or something, or great grandpa.
But as you can see,
So I'm just going to come out with it. This game is basically a cryptid to me because I had this game, I played this game. It's just I don't remember how I got it.
I do recall buying it from a GameStop. I think. Go ahead, Bobby. But,
I probably got it from the EB Games back in Seathurst when it
Back
was
when EB
still
Games
around.
was a thing.
Well, they are still a thing, just not in the States.
What the fuck's a Bazai?
Bozai, okay.
That's
Sorry.
his name.
But I must have been thinking of someone else then.
Someone else.
So yeah,
But,
this game is actually a top-down platformer instead of a 3D platformer, which...
Yeah, it was pretty much par for the course back when the GBA was still relevant.
But you know what, on one hand it works, on the other hand it doesn't work, because... Holy shit, your field of death in this game is abysmal.
But on the third hand, at least it's not isometric, says Ali.
No, it's not
Thanks,
isometric,
Spyro.
but...
Well,
but
it's sort of. I mean,
it's top-down.
Well, honestly, there's not that huge of a difference outside of a slanted perspective.
I will say that not even the depth perception is the problem. It's more of it's hard to see what is around you because you have a very narrow perspective of the world around you this way. So you can't see too much coming in one direction or the other. And so...
Hey!
Oh, gosh.
Where'd that come from?
From under the leaves, I guess. Thank you, Bossy. Is there a way to zoom out and view a map of an area?
No.
No.
Oh, that would have really helped, I think.
It would have been helpful for this game, because, yeah.
Yeah, your
it's
field of view
easier.
in this game is pretty dang tiny.
Yeah, like, you could have zoomed out a little bit.
I mean,
And granted, Banjo controls well in this game, it's just that...
Banjo controls well, and they do take into account the small screen space, because I can't think of too many instances in this game that blindside you.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, as you're seeing, again, this is honestly this whole playthrough is kind of spoiler. A lot of this game actually took a lot of this game took a lot more. It took a lot of inspiration from Tui.
Yeah,
Especially with its characters
It kept
and
in a lot of
and
elements from
limitations.
Tui while also keeping the more lighthearted tone of the original game, which, I mean, I'm fine with personally.
I mean, it's
just
like
that,
this game came out after Banjo-Kazooie.
Well, yeah, this was right after the whole thing with Rare being sucked in by Microsoft,
And this is the best. And this is the
Yeah.
best three. This is the best three you'll get right now.
Yeah, so they didn't get, they didn't have Rareware work on this. Instead, we got good old THQ.
Well, no, THQ published the game. It was still Rare that
Hey,
made the
Jiggy
game.
Wiggy.
Was
It's just
it?
that they needed sort of a workaround because, well, around this time, again, Microsoft owned the rights to all the Rare's properties, but Rare made an exception with Nintendo in that they could still make games for the Game Boy Advance because, well, back then Microsoft didn't really have any sort of competition to give to Nintendo. So, you know, if you can't beat them, join them, then beat them.
Yeah.
Was that the
and then
case?
Microsoft has still never made a portable console. And I don't think I've seen Sony do anything with the PS Vita in a long while.
Well, the Vita's dead at this point.
Would the Nokia N-Gage count?
No.
Mm,
No, it wouldn't.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, like, I mean, granted, outside of like a few pretenders, yeah, the Game Boy Advance was really all we had. I think by this point, even the good old Neo Geo Pocket Color and Wonder Swan Color were sort of obsolete.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I haven't played this game in so long that I forgot you actually don't do the puzzles.
Yeah, also, actually, that in itself just reminded me. I think James may have to do Tui.
Wait, why
Why?
me?
Because I don't own an Xbox One to play the Rare Revival Collection, and without any capture card to capture properly off of N64, I'm reduced to emulation,
Emulator?
which emulators don't like the puzzles. They turn up as flickering black. They turn up as the texture doesn't load.
It depends on a proper setup. Like,
Maybe RetroArch can handle. I'll look into it, but I'm just saying if it doesn't, our hands may be tied if not. Anyway.
great. I can't wait to take a dip in some watery crevices.
Well, I'd say
That's a very weird way of putting it.
you don't need to find a spot with plenty of air. So stick to places where bubbles rise to the. Oh yeah, we actually can dive in this game.
Yep.
Like, by ourselves and actually go into a different. I was about to say we can dive in this game. That was like one of our default things in the first game. You know what I mean?
It should also be said that for the first world or so, you're stuck without Kazooie. So Bonsai here is going to give you a few helpful tips and tricks in order to, well, help you hold your own.
Yeah,
I forget,
spoilers,
is there
yes.
backtracking in this game?
No.
Not as bad as, say, 2E gets.
I was saying,
I mean,
yeah,
when it comes to going back to previously visited levels with Kazooie and Tao.
Ooh, bubble air, bubble water.
The worst that happened to Kazooie was basically either Gobi's Valley or for ZZ Peak, whichever you picked first.
Oh my god, I forgot about the depth perception in this area.
Again, just let it be. Up we go. So,
It's also bad so long as you just pay attention to your shadow.
No, but it
Yeah,
gets
spoiler-
worse.
But yeah, spoilers, you're not actually well, yeah, jumping from platform to platform in the air, that's when it gets bad. But no, spoilers,
Nope.
we don't actually
Nope.
find Kazooie until the second world. But yeah, so I found this game and I tried out, I played pretty much all of it up until the final boss where it got a little too, like, it's just outright was difficult to me, I don't know why.
You were probably very young at the time, couldn't understand how to do technical platforming.
Maybe I can handle it more. I know Icky doesn't remember if he played this or not. Hype, have you?
Well,
ever
no,
had
I
experience-
know I played this. It's just
I
that
know,
I haven't
but I
played it
don't
in
know
so
if you ever
long.
beaten it. I was saying I don't know. You said you couldn't remember if you had beaten it or not.
Right. I remember getting up to Swamp World, and that's it.
So Hype, have you had any experience with this one?
Honestly, I've heard of it, like the synopsis and whatnot, but aside from that, I've never really seen a single thing about this game until just now.
Well, now you have a
Alrighty.
chicken.
And Sealy is straightforward. How about you, Sealy? What do you think of this so far?
Oh yeah, that's right, we have
I'm
Sealy here.
straightforward.
Aww. Sounds like you could use a hand.
She's like, the chicken's cute, I guess.
What's a cute chicken?
Kinda, yes.
And now it's not cute.
there's actually
And
good
now,
news. Cue the music.
we've got a slide. Also, we're collecting Kazooie's eggs in this case. I guess
Yeah.
this is where they come from?
It doesn't even look like we're moving.
No.
No, that's how they pulled this off. I will say though, looking at the background, especially down there, that's some pretty impressive rendering for the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Crash games did it better.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Although I still think back to freaking Donkey Kong Country 3, where they had the minigame where Dixie was literally going through that whole...
Half pipe in Sonic 2.
Yes.
Ugh.
I mean, it was impressive for what it was worth, but it chugged the game like nothing else.
Yep.
Also, I just remembered how every single enemy makes the exact same sound effect when they die in this game. Yeah.
Well, that's just GBA limitations.
Yeah, they had a limited sound card to work with sound effects, but the fact that they're pretty much using almost all of the same sounds, if not a little modified from N64 for Game Boy Advance, pretty decent.
Yeah.
I mean, for what it was worth, the Game Boy... This was back when, well, this is like the most you can get out of a portable console before the DS and PSP said otherwise.
Now, who did the soundtrack for this game?
I think it might still have been Kirkhope. At least I'm willing to bet it was.
Sounds
You
like
know,
Oh, no!
These things suck.
I forgot about these stupid octopus enemies.
Yeah. We're gonna get to this in 2E, but I'll say real quickly, the way that these new honeycomb pieces work is if it says 2, you'll reveal 2 pieces of health. If you get an exclamation mark, it kind of begins a roulette game where it goes from left to right, like bing, 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 and the problem is that if you aren't careful, you can actually lose health because whatever you hit the A button on to confirm, that is how much health it'll give you. So if you start off as full health and you accidentally hit it at the very end, you've just lost all of your health. The
So I
question,
noticed there's a bunch of apples on the ground. Do we have to collect those?
No, they're just a background prop.
the question mark... Anyway, what was I say? The question mark works the exact same way as the exclamation point, except the order is random. Okay, I probably shouldn't have said it works exactly like it. It works similarly to the exclamation mark, except it's not in a straight line. It'll bounce around, so just have good reflexes, I guess.
How's Banjo-Nova name of this grunt weed?
He's... You know what, it's honestly a good question.
I-
I should have probably brought up the whole thing with, free at last. Thank you for saving us from that boring creature. You can take that golden jiggy in our pen if you like.
Hey, dang it, Sean the Sheep, you're not supposed to talk.
As you can hear, they like using Banjo's talking voice and doing as many weird pitch shifts to it as they can.
I can hear it.
Anyway, what was I about to say? The whole thing about Grunty literally taking Kazooie with her to change the past, honestly, it feels like a very superfluous plot point because a lot of the level design in this game just feels it could very well just be part of Banjo's world naturally.
Well, no.
It's
they don't
literally
do
just an
anything.
excuse to take away Kazooie for the beginning parts of the game.
Well,
Well, no.
you don't even need.
You could just have her connect.
You don't even need that excuse to take away Kazooie. She already flew in, took Kazooie, and just said "fuck off."
Well, no, yeah, because that's the thing is like the whole past thingy. Like you could have just had this been a neighboring region, and Boggy just didn't want to come. And Bottles didn't want to come with us. Like it does. I'm trying to think of an actual explanation for it, but
Well,
They're
for all we know,
really-
Bottles was probably on vacation with his kids.
I do have one thing to say though. The name of this level is really stupidly generic, and that's kind of one thing I don't like about this game, where some of the names in this game are just not impressive at all.
I mean, aside from Regal Beach, I can't think of too many other standout examples, so I guess you're right there.
There's a farmland. There's a city area with a lot of pollution. There's
Oh, it's a harbor, not a
Swamp.
city.
a harbor. There's a swamp with a haunted house in it. There's an icy zone. There's probably a lava zone, maybe.
And then there's this very generic farm.
It's yeah. This is well. I was about to joke. I was about to jokingly say, "Isn't this what Conker's Bad Fur Day outright parodied in its first level?"
Is it?
I think so, yes.
Its first level was a farm area
It was.
One of the first, yeah.
to just play with the expectation of, oh, it's a kiddie platformer.
Oh, right,
What?
right, the windy section.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But, so I mean, okay, so let's get to that point. James, having played this, do you think this is worth? We're not going to do it, but personally speaking, would you believe this to be worth a playthrough, like a full playthrough, or just?
I mean, if you're that curious about it, I'd say there's really no harm done in doing so. I mean, it's definitely not the shining spot in this game in this series' overall history. But I mean, it's a decent enough distraction.
Definitely is shinier than the little shit stain left on the corner of that plate right around 2000.
Honestly, I will definitely take this over the likes of, say, the Spyro GBA games.
or nuts and bolts.
with one exception. That would be Attack of the Rhinox.
I haven't seen that one actually.
Was that game any good?
I liked it.
That's fair.
I played the Ice and Fire games. I didn't know there was a Rhinox game.
The most I played was Season of Flame, which was the sequel to Ice.
Right.
I always thought Season of Flame and Season of Ice were simultaneous releases.
Pokemon-like things. I didn't think of either of them being like their own sequel. I just thought of it being like an alternate, like, oh, this happened, or maybe this happened.
So
Look,
kinda
as
like
long
Red
as
Blue.
long as we stay far and clear from Spyro Orange, I am good.
Well, that goes without saying.
You say that. I actually think those games are all right. Like, they're not-
No,
Well, Crash Burble's fine. Just...
Yeah, Crash Purple played just like it should be. Spyro
well, because
Orange,
Crash
when you put in
Purple
Crash's-
knows what a Crash Bandicoot game
Well,
is.
But
I mean,
the problem was that Spyro Orange was built off of the Crash Game Boy Advance engine.
and it did not work in the slightest.
Honestly, you guys say that. I think it worked out all right. Like, it's not.
Oh, what
It's not
the?
the best. Oh, Banjo, with all the babies about, it doesn't feel safe to bathe in the sheep dip. Please give the little leaders a hand to get into the dip.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry I have to cut over. I was gonna say real quick. This game likes minigames. I don't like them all the time. They're a little finicky.
Just like Spyro Orange.
Aw.
You got teach their own, I guess. I thought that game was all right. It's not the complete shit stain like people make it out to be.
I don't hate it. I love the idea of that crossover. Just this game, this sucks.
Yo, James.
Hmm?
The way you said "in the sheep dip," I expect a full-fledged remix out of that statement.
What?
Remix.
We don't do that. We don't do.
I just found it funny how you said it.
Yep.
Anyway,
Sorry, go ahead, Hype.
Just going back to Spyro Orange, I don't necessarily like it either. As far as the whole minigame thing goes, in Orange's defense, I don't think it's really exclusive because the classic trilogy is kind of, I don't know if I'd say infamous or famous, but one of the more defining traits of the classic Spyro trilogy is that, especially in 2 and 3, is that it does have like its fair share of minigames as well. So it's not like that's a problem exclusive to Orange. Although I
And
will
we
say
were
that the
one
minigames-
sheep
Oh,
short.
nuts.
Although I will say that I don't think the minigames in Orange are quite as interesting as the ones in the trilogy.
At the very least, in Spyro Orange, you don't have to worry about having to clear those games multiple times just for the sake of gems or relics.
And with that pun, we're done.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's about as far as I was willing to go. I didn't even get to show off the bitchin' bachelor pad that the past Mumbo owns.
Yeah. I mean, that much I remember being friggin' fucking disco-ish.
Yeah, and yet he didn't have an afro, so I was very disappointed. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for our little look at on Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. I mean, like I said before, it's a good enough game. It's just, it's more of a, it's less of a really standout game and more like a distraction, if you really want
It's
to.
okay.
I hate to say it, but I honestly couldn't really get into it.
And that's fair.
That's fair. It's... Yeah.
And that's why you were here.
If you're a big fan of Banjo, I think this is a great game to at least give a shot at trying out. If you've never played Banjo, this should not be how you introduce yourself to the franchise.
Well,
That's fair.
in this day and age especially, yeah. But on that note, see you for Tui.
Bye-bye!
Bye bye.
Until we meet again at brighter pastures.
Bye.